Hey everybody, it is time again for Michael's record collection. I want to welcome back to the program. You may remember he was here in March of 2022. We spoke about the Black Swan album. It's Robin McAuley. Please give a warm welcome to Robin McAuley out there in your homes right now. Welcome back, Robin.
Hello, Michael. Thanks for having me. It's good to be back. And Happy New Year, everybody. Hope it
Yeah,
was a good one.
am I talking to you again from Vegas? Are you in Vegas?
No, I am not. I am home in Los Angeles, California.
Okay. Well, we're here to talk a little bit about this new solo album called Alive,
Uh-huh.
which comes out February 17th on Frontiers Music.
Right.
And I've been listening to this and enjoying it a little bit. It's your first solo album since way back in 2021. And then of course you had Black Swan last year. So you've been very busy lately, and you seem to have a very energized career right now. It's a very active period in your career. To what do you owe this surge of activity, Robin?
Whew, timelines. You know, I guess kudos to Frontiers. They wanted me to do it. Black Swan came up. We picked out Shake the World. We had amazing response, and they basically wanted momentum and asked me if I do a solo record. We were standing on the edge, not really knowing what to do, but the response was really positive. And last year, oh my God, it seems so long ago. Last year, doesn't it? Generation Mind, an even more amazing response with the second Black Swan record, and we had always planned to do this follow up to the solo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit late coming to the party because I should have submitted this as early as June, but I was in Europe doing a Michael Schenker tour, and that got extended. But here we are, beginning of the year. First single title track came out a couple of weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and today, Friday the 13th, we dropped another one. Feel Like Hell with a video, and in and out between interviews, the response has been amazing for that too. So I'm in a good place. I feel, man, I could do more of this.
Yeah, yeah. It's we're definitely entering a very good period, or not entering, but we're in the middle of a very good period of Robin McAuley music. And
And thank
so,
you, thank you. I mean, if nobody was listening, I wouldn't be here. So I really do. I'm not taking it lightly. I really, really, really do appreciate it. So thank you.
does this mean we get another Black Swan next year?
I believe you do. I just heard. So I'm
Great.
I'm I'm even more excited about that. I'm a little worried because I'm thinking, ah, shit, what are we supposed to write about now? So we'll have to come up with something to make it interesting.
For
I'm always
sure.
good for I'm always good for a story. At least that's what Jeff Pilson tells me anyway.
Yeah. How well, he would know, I guess.
He would know. Yeah.
So you have this your second solo album in a couple of years. Tell me a little bit about the songwriting process for this album, because you worked with Andrea Saveso for guitars, Alessandro Del Vecchio on bass and keyboards, and
Yeah.
Nicholas Papapicho on drums. Fantastic musicians. How did the music and lyrics all come together for this?
Yeah. These guys still there, thank God, because they're just killing it. Um, Obviously spoke with Alessandro about how we would approach this one. We wanted it a little more edgy, still keep that modern production. You really never know what you're going to get when you give me a piece of music, when you leave the lyrics and the melodies to me. So
Mhm.
um, Alessandro sent me a bucket load of songs, some new writers involved with him this time. And then Ulrich Longqvist and Pete Alpenberg from Sweden also involved like they were in the first one. And they sent me a bucket of songs. And of course, everybody goes, pick my song, pick my song. Um, so out of the barrel of songs that they sent me, I picked 12. And I let Alessandro know what I'm going to work on. And he goes, take it, go with it. And I write all the lyrics, all the melodies. I do my demos and I send back the roughs and I go, what do you think? And I usually give it uh, an order listing. So I think there's a sort of a thread of cohesiveness through it. And he goes, it sounds great to me. Let's do it. I
Yeah.
record the vocals here in LA. And then he goes to work, and I, like the Black Swan records, I bring my son Casey in. He loves coming into the studio, and he joined me on, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 tracks, doing some backing vocals, and we have a blast. And keep your fingers crossed, and you pick the topics, and you try to make sense out of the whole thing, and hope somebody else will go, what the hell is he singing about? And let it go from there. And then they come to me and they go, any ideas for artwork, videos? And that's the wrong question to ask me, because and I went, of course I do. And then they let me run with that, and they give me just the best artist to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Who just takes my ideas and really brings them to the album cover, and seems to capture my wackiness every time. And I love it. I love it. It's like you see it coming to life, and we go backwards and forwards with colors and ideas, and the picture forms. And so it's great, Michael, to see it, the cake being made in the oven. You start off with the ingredients, and then you start eating the damn thing, and you're going, man, I'm liking this. So I'm very happy. I love the production. I love the way the songs came out, and I can't talk enough about Andreas Silvestra's guitar playing, because he's just killing it.
Oh, he's amazing. He's an amazing guitar.
Killing it.
You have not been, my friend. You have not been hurting for great guitarists on your music.
You know, I am absolutely blessed. I've worked with, my God, so many, and I seem to be continually blessed with that. They come in and they want to work with me, and I'm going, really? And they just add those extra ingredients that are just, it's awesome. It's awesome.
So what? Tell me, Robin, what kind of writer you are. Are you the kind of writer that has lyrics laying around, that you scribble things down from time to time, or do you need to hear a piece of music to start to formulate ideas for it?
Exactly that. I have nothing. I don't have the book of words, the book of wisdom anywhere lying around the place. They will send me the music. I will listen to every song, only that song. I will pick all the songs once I've selected what sonically I like to hear, and I will just take any song, any randomly out of the 12, and I will only listen to that song maybe 100 times. And my machine is running constantly in record, and I'll just be singing BS over the top of it. I'll just hear something,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll keep referencing back, and I'll have, oh my God, I'll have layers of tracks with different ideas, and the words will just seem to flow. I might have heard something watching the news. I might have read something. I read, so I might think subliminally, I should write something about that. And then I might not think about it anymore. I don't take a note, and I'm hoping that I will have good recall, and that's not always the case. And so I usually write in the moment, and people often ask me the same question. They go, where did you get the idea? And I go, I got it in that song while I was doing it. And tomorrow I moved on to the next song, and now I have no idea where I got that first idea from. But this is a new song, and it's either something that I'm going to read, thought about reading, or something that just happened, and I'll just conjure it up and mix it and make a cake out of it, and hopefully it makes sense.
Yeah. Now, when you're writing the vocal melodies or coming up with the vocal melodies for these tracks, do you just do scat vocals and then figure out the words later?
That's exactly right. That's exactly what I do. I'll hear a melody because the chord is telling me that this is where I need to be going, and I may change it a few times, but again, I'm always in record mode. And the chord structure will just tell me what the word is. It'll just tell me what it is, and it'll just throw it off the screen at me, and I'll go, yeah, there it is. There it is. And I'll come up with something else, and I go, no, it's just not rolling. It's just not rolling, because there has to be a storyline in it for me to make sense. Otherwise, it's not going anywhere. And melody is super important to me. So I always try to write a really strong melody, and I try to match a lyric that, even if it didn't completely make sense, it just has a tonality to it that just rolls, and it just works with the chord structure. So it's I don't have a magic formula. I'd like to tell you I do. I wish I did. My God, I'd be writing like I'd stay up all night, but it doesn't work like that for me.
No, it doesn't. So
I have to work hard at it. I work really hard at it, you know.
Yeah.
But I spend a lot of hours on every single song. I do. It's, people talk about, oh, dude, if it comes spontaneous, that's the one. And I'm going, well, maybe it does for you, but it doesn't for me.
Yeah.
You know?
It's different people work
Yeah,
differently.
yeah, yeah.
Some people never think the song is finished. It's just,
Oh,
they got a deadline, so they have to at some point cut it off. But
oh, the worst part of it is you go, that's it, right? We're done, right? I can't let it go. How do I let it go?
yeah.
And then sometimes you just flog it into submission, and then you hate it because you just overworked it.
What did you come into this album thinking in terms of nobody wants to make the same album twice. What did you have in mind to differentiate this from your last solo album?
I just wanted it to be a harder edge, keep the modern production, and 12 good songs. That's all I wanted. And I had no idea that we were going to get any of that. I mean, you can always make things heavier and louder, and heavy doesn't make a good song necessarily. But there has to be a semblance of a good melody to work with, um, around any set of chords, because every singer with the same set of chords will write his thing. So give any one of those 12 songs to another singer, he'll write a completely different album. I'm sure of it,
Mm-hmm.
with completely different titles and meanings and all of that. This is what I did with it. And so that was all I ever asked for, is give me good music, and I will do my damnedest to give you a good melody, a good hook line, and some sort of a thread that will make this sound like an album.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Now, I know
record.
you have.
Do we call them albums anymore, or we call them records now?
I still call them both
Yeah,
albums and records, and people are like, "What are you
right.
talking about?"
Yeah, yeah.
But I wanted to make mention because you've got a pretty big milestone birthday coming up a week
I
from today, in
do.
fact.
I do.
You do. And yet, and I know last time we talked, you said you really don't do anything special in order to take care of your voice, but your voice sounds amazing throughout this album. And for you to be blessed with the ability to sing like you do at your age, or at any age, really, it's just an amazing thing. Do you find limits on what you can do when you're in the recording process, or you still have your full range?
Absolutely. I mean, when I'm writing, one of the things that I always work on is, and I'll digress here a little bit, because I always used to say right at the beginning of writing songs with Michael Schenker in the McAuley Schenker days, one of the things I always used to say to him was that whatever we do in the studio, I want to be able to do live. I hate going to see a band or bands or whatever it is where I have one or more favorite songs from that particular artist and they just don't cut it live. And it bums me out to hell. And I'm going, why did you do something when you were recording that you knew you could not reproduce live? And that kind of bums me out. And people fly stuff, we don't fly stuff in. It's live. That's what it
Yeah.
is. So with that in mind, I I always tell people the same story. My voice is like a ping pong table. I know how big the table is, and I know those little white lines. I know where they are, and if I go outside of that white line, I'm treading water at this point. So sometimes I'll go there just to push it, because I always like to take it just right up to the edge till it's out.
Yeah.
And that's what my voice does. I know what I'm capable of doing. I certainly know what I'm capable of not doing.
Mm.
I have a voice that does this. Other singers have voices that just does everything, and I know where to go, and I know how to make it sound good when I go there, and that's what I've worked on all of the years, and it's just knowing where to go in the wheelhouse,
Mhm.
and not destroy not destroy the building on the way down. And that's what I try to do, and stay healthy while I'm doing it, and super important to have a blast while I'm doing it. I just love doing it. I love it,
Well,
and
it
that's what
sounds
keeps
like
me
you are.
going.
It
Yeah,
sounds like you're having a good time.
yeah, I love it.
The lead track, "Alive," the title track and the lead single from the album, is a fantastic melodic rock song, great harmony vocals. You've kind of already addressed this, but I wanted to clarify. You mentioned that your son does some singing with you. Did anyone else contribute vocals, or is just mainly you and a little bit your son?
Just myself. I don't think I think Casey is on today's single, "Feel Like Hell." I think he
Mm-hmm.
joined me on the just only on the intro on the "Who are we?" Just because I wanted that sort of and more voices. One voice wasn't enough, so I wanted to get that sort of gut sound. He's not on the Alive single. He's on two, three, maybe four of the other tracks,
Mm-hmm.
here and there. Um, he puts a nice color on it, and that I like. So it's not all me, because I do all my lead vocals, I do all my harmonies, and
Mm-hmm.
then I will only add him. I don't add anybody else. I
Okay.
usually only add him just for that little bit of color in certain places that I predetermine. I write it down. I'm going to have Casey sing that, and we sing it together. He doesn't sing it alone. We sing it together, so that blend. And I'll put him here in the studio, or I'll put me here, so that you get you just get that sound,
Mm-hmm.
and that works really well. And we have a blast doing it. And it's great to work with my son, and we
Yeah.
goof off and sometimes he'll go, "You got this, Dad? Or do you want me to do it?" So we have that great camaraderie, and
Yeah.
I have a great studio engineer with Andy Zuckerman, who recorded all my vocals for Standing on the Edge. If it works, don't fix it. So I go back to the same place called Institute of Noise here in LA. It's pretty close to me, so it's a no-brainer. Alive came together pretty early on in the writing, and I kind of knew where I was going to go after that. Um, it's the video director says, "Dude, it's like, what are we going to do here? It sounds like one big chorus, you
Yeah.
know." And I went, "Well, if that's how you hear it, that's good by me. It's a positive message. It's about resilience, really. It's like, throw the kitchen sink at me, do all of this and all of this and all of this, but in the end, we will light this place up, because we will come through it." And
Yeah.
that's really what it's about. It's very
That's
simple.
that's the thing that I took away, is the big melodies, the big harmonies. I mean, on the song "Alive." How many Robins am I hearing in this song?
Oh, two only.
Yeah.
Usually how I record, I will I will lay down the track, and I'll usually just double the harmony, because the vocals are supposed to be big. I
Mm-hmm.
love big, powerful choruses. I'll double my lead vocal, and I'm really tight. You can't even tell the difference. And he goes, "Did you sing that?" And I go, "Yeah, didn't you hear it?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, I do. I see it on the track now." So he doesn't, because I sing it. I keep it. If you're singing to yourself, it should be really tight. It has to be tight.
Yeah.
And then I'll harmonize to myself, and then I'll stick some harmonies usually on a verse. And the bridge portion is usually big to me. I love to go somewhere different on the bridge, like when we did the ballad "Can't Go On," which I think they will drop with the actual release of the record.
Okay.
On that middle eight section, I went left field, and one of the writers came to me and he goes, "Please tell me you won't change that melody." I love that melody. So sometimes, you lay something down and you go, "Yeah, that's cool. Maybe I'll embellish it in the studio," but we didn't actually change anything from the demo to the actual recording. Everything I kind of kept pretty much the same. I was pretty comfortable with it, and I went, "It works. It works. I don't want to keep." Mostly, what I will do, to answer the question more directly, is on the vamp, on the out sections, I usually leave that for the studio. I don't work that up pre. I'd see what's going to happen and
Mm-hmm.
see how the song, because I use different mics at home than I do in the studio. Um, and then sometimes it just lends itself to, okay, we'll do that here.
Okay. I know
Yeah.
we're a little pressed for time this time out, but I wanted to just touch on some of these songs.
Yeah.
"Dead as a Bone" as a fantastic solo from Andrea. Where
Oh.
did the title phrase come from? Or is that like an Irish saying, "dead as a bone"?
It's a very old saying, actually. How do you feel? "Oh man, I'm dead tired, dead as a bone," right? Blah blah. But the song actually came about through the midterm elections, believe it or not. There's a huge thing across the country, but LA is rife with homelessness.
Yeah.
And I was working on the track, and there was just something about the structure of the music that just kept harping on me about, imagine all of these homeless people. They all have a mom, they all have a dad. And what happens to, this is a morbid subject, but what happens to these
Yeah.
poor, unfortunate people that die on the street, in a tent, in a gully, in a wash? What happens to them? Where do they go? Where do they go? Who takes care of them? Who's the first guy who that gets called? Does anybody know that this person is not here anymore?
Mm-hmm.
How does that take place? And I just started getting myself all wound up and into that rabbit hole, and I'm going, oh my God. And then I'm started thinking, is there a mom or a dad or a brother or a sister somewhere with their head on a pillow tonight going, I wonder where my brother is, I wonder where my sister is, I wonder where my mom, my dad, my son, my daughter. And I'm just going, why am I even thinking about this kind of stuff? But I did, and Dead as a Bone came out as a result of it.
Yeah.
That somebody somewhere is feeling sorry because they think they messed up or didn't do a good job. But there's only so much that's in your control and so much that's out of our control.
Yeah. Whose idea was it for you to end the song with your isolated vocal?
Oh, I always wanted to do it. I did that on my demos.
Okay.
I did that on my demos, and I said to Alessandro, when we get to the bottom, mute the music. It's actually in a lot of places I did it. I didn't intentionally do that. It just seemed to happen. And I thought, we don't need music here. It just needs to be that lonely voice all by themselves, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to be left there on your lonesome. And I thought, yeah, it doesn't make sense having any music here, because it didn't make sense to the storyline by having all of this stuff around you. You're not going to go out with a fanfare usually. And really that's how that happens.
Okay. Do you have a favorite track on the album?
Oh, I love the title track.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that chorus when it kicks in. I absolutely love it. I love Bless Me Father as a track. I think it's just a great piece of music. I love the ballad Can't Go On. It's just I'm going to keep saying it. I think it's just a great song.
Yeah. Got to have a power ballad.
It's just a beautiful melody that just came to me, and it's just a great melody. I just love the track. There's a couple of tracks that are very different right in the middle. My Only Son is actually a real story about a real woman who murdered her husband and had an incestuous love affair with one of her sons, who also became a Santa Keems. Read up on it. Mary Tyler Moore played her in a very old, sort of mid-70s movie, I think it was, maybe. I think it was called My Mother's Son, and it sort of portrayed the life of Santa Keems, who ended up murdering about 6 people. She kept getting away with it. And the last one she goofed because they left too much information at the. I love crime movies, as you can tell, and so I decided to read up on the whole thing, and I went, wow, this is a good storyline.
Yeah.
Because I'm usually down the vampire hole or something, and of course the artwork is all to do with Frankenstein. That's where all that comes from. It's a laboratory. It's the charge. It's the electricity. It's all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I'm glad you have an outlet for all these for the darker stuff.
And a good thing, right?
Yeah. I know we're a little short for time this time out. People can go back and listen to episode 56 and hear more from Robin. But before I let you go, Robin, I wanted to know what's next for you. You mentioned Black Swan maybe next year. Are you doing any Raiding the Rock Vault or anything in terms of touring or going back out with MSG?
Yeah, I'll most likely be celebrating the 10th anniversary this in March of Raiding the Rock Vault. I'm not actually part of the show anymore. I declined after 7 years and almost 1,500 shows. I thought it was time to step back. Plus, when I was out with Schenkerfest and doing the festivals, I realized how much I had missed that side of the music industry. I love the festivals. I love that performance, and not knocking the residency, but you kind of get lost in that and you lose that. And it's a very different set of tools. So I want to continue doing that. I think there's possibly more MSG stuff coming up this year.
Oh, good.
I'm also now part of another classic rock show called Icons of Rock. We were in Bolivia early December, and that has Alex Lidgerwood, that was with Santana, actually had Dave Bickler from Survivor. That sort of a genre, classic rock, big, powerful. It's awesome. And so I'm part of that as well. And of course, we're going to take Alive and Standing on the Edge and some Black Swan live this year.
Well, that'll be great.
Frontiers are going to do the festival in Milan, and we're hoping that we will just roll on with that. And I'm not sure if we will start the new Black Swan this year, but we'll be doing something.
All right. Well, I hope that they roll some cameras out there and get you a DVD or something out of this.
I think that'd be, yeah, of course. You think they're going to let that go?
That's
Yeah,
free money. We can't give that up.
yeah. There's no way they're going to let that one roll by. No pun intended. No, it'll be rolling for sure. Yeah.
All right,
We
Robin.
better be on our A game.
Robin McAuley. The album is called Alive. Comes out on Frontiers Music February 17th. I hope it does really well for you. I've been enjoying it quite a bit. Congratulations on another fantastic release, and thank you so much for your time again.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me. Thank you.